All right, let's go. Welcome again to Biblical Christian Content, where I like to keep the content biblical. And I had to make a quick little video on this. I watched an interview the other day with, I'm pretty sure the YouTube channel is Right Response Ministries. I don't even know the gentleman's name. I should have looked that up. But he was doing an interview with Jeff Durbin from Apologia. And he made some really good comments on the kind of like the persecution of the church and everything that's going on in the world. So let's take a listen. I'll come back.
Be doing, because I look at a lot of things recently happening even with the evangelical church, and a lot of people chalk it up to a loss, but there's many ways that I'm saddened and grieved, but there's many ways that I'm grateful. I think because I feel like there's been a winnowing, there's been a pruning. I just finished reading Vodi Baucham's book Fault Lines, and I thought it was really helpful, and I'm grateful that, like, for the first time in a while I can actually, it's like there was like this, God in his providence made it like a mandatory, rule where we all had to put on our jerseys and we could tell for the first time who was actually on our team. We could tell and that, I mean, that's a great grace to the nation. It's a great grace to the church. It's a great grace to me finally to be able to say, oh, okay, I thought there was something there. It smelled fishy and felt funny, and so it depends on your perspective. Am I thinking outside of myself? Am I thinking outside of even our nation? Am I thinking 10,000 years from now? And because Christ could tarry for 10,000, 40,000, like you've said, we might be in the infant stages still of the church. Am I thinking big? Am I thinking long, small, slow, significant?
Okay, so that was Joel Webben from Right Response Ministries. And as I mentioned earlier, that's from a full interview done with Jeff Durbin from a few weeks ago. It's a little over an hour long if you want to listen to that. It's on the post-millennial view, I guess. They're discussing, I guess, like the state of things and persecution of the church, and still maintaining a post-millennial view, which I'm not saying I disagree with, but I'm not saying I agree with it either. I should do another whole video on post-millennialism and premillennialism, where basically post-millennialism believes that many of the prophecies and tribulation that is prophesied in the Bible, that a premillennial is waiting to be fulfilled. They believe it was already fulfilled in and around the first century, around 70 AD, with Rome persecuting the church and Israel like crazy. And it was a savage persecution, and postmillennials believe that that's what Jesus was talking about, and that basically now that Jesus has ascended into heaven, he is ruling. He is ruling right now in heaven. And the millennial kingdom is not a literal 1,000 full years, but it's a portion of time, not a literal 1,000, that Christ is ruling and reigning in heaven. And whereas the premillennial believes we haven't entered the millennial kingdom yet, and that when Christ returns, he will set up a literal 1,000-year reign. So that's a premillennial view. I got to break that down, more specifics. I don't take notes or anything like that. I know what I enjoy. I know what I've listened to. I know what I love. I know what I believe in the word. And so I just really, everything is off the cuff. Every single video I do is off the cuff. And so to get into this, one thing I liked about what Joel said is that basically it's been a long time since you saw kind of like a situation where everyone had to put on their jersey, where basically the circumstances with the persecution of the church, lockdowns, and this whole CV-19 thing created a different scenario for many churches in North America, and I guess all over. And basically, he said, for once for the first time in a long time, you were forced to put on your jersey. You were forced to show what team you're really on. And I think this is a great point he made, that when the persecution came or the lockdowns came and everything like that, I think you can kind of see who's real about continuing to meet in fellowship, who's real about continuing on in the word and the worship of the Lord. If he's really the Lord of your life, then you love him day in and day out anyway. You want to obey scripture anyway, regardless of what the world around you is doing. So I felt like, a lot of churches did just so quickly cave in. And even when the science came out and the science is kind of contradicting what is being told to the people, I think you did see a lot of people stand up and say, hey, wait, this isn't adding up. And hey, wait, we have to continue to worship the Lord our God. And, a lot of, it's okay to take precaution or this and that if you're a compromised person. But I feel like here, he made a really good point of view with saying that, you kind of separated for a brief period of time the weed and the wheats. Whoever was the wheat kind of stood up, and the weeds, they were more easily to spot as things got crazy over the last 2 years. So I'm gonna play a little rest of this, the little remaining portion there is, and I'll come back.
My thinking through the perspective and the mind of God as best I can from his word, and seeing that even in the midst of difficulty and trial, all the graces that he's affording to us that accomplish his will. I mean, the fact that like liberalism has kind of just had a heyday these past few years, and I know it's been longer and secular, but the fact that it's really showing its head, man, I look at that and I think, all right, maybe America's done. That doesn't mean anything in terms of the post-mill position being wrong. That America is just that's a few points that I don't want us to lose. But so that's one perspective. But then my perspective is, man, finally the enemy has reared its ugly head, and just said, this is how ugly I actually am. You know how I've been sweet and nice for a long time and polite, and this is how bad I really am. I want to take your children away from you. I want to do vaccine passports, and I want to monitor you with this and do like. And I'm sitting back and I'm like, yeah, this is scary. At the same time, like, thank goodness, because I felt like one of the hardest things to do as a pastor was convince people that there was an enemy. To convince people that there was darkness, that there actually was something like persecution.
Wow, that was just an amazing point that he made. And I don't want you guys to miss that. He said that basically as a pastor, one of the hardest things is to convince the people, or is to show the people, hey, there is literal evil, wickedness, darkness and persecution. And this season of time that we just went through, I think, and to piggyback on what he said, I think it really put that on display. I think the mask came off, and I think you've seen a lot of people in leadership, a lot of people in positions of power really make decisions, poor decisions, and some would say, very foolish and wicked decisions, very hurtful decisions. And I'm not just saying just politicians, but, when you think about it, they are creating all these sort of mandates and new laws, lockdowns, restrictions. You can't do this. You can do that. Like playing mommy and daddy on steroids to citizens. And I just think that behind the scenes, the devil is working. The devil is always going to be working against the church. And I just feel like people in the church and outside of the church really should just look and take a second to look and analyze the eye-opening facts that are a part of what we are still going through and have went through over the last, year to 2 years. And I just really would petition people to think over those things. Don't let it just fly by. There is wickedness behind that. There is wickedness behind, and you can tell there's not everyone who's making decisions, not everyone who's governing or is in the spotlight is making really nasty choices like that. Not everyone, but some are, and some are not. And the ones that are not, you can tell that their intentions are much healthier, much better. So I feel like the wickedness of men's hearts are on display. I feel like a lot of the stuff going on is persecution that we haven't seen before. And as he said, it's one of the hardest things is to show people that there is a devil, there is wickedness. And this is a great opportunity to say, hey, look, hey, look, it's obvious. Now, let's talk some meat and potatoes. Let's talk gospel. Let's talk that there is evil. So there also is holiness and good. And that is the God of the Bible. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. And yeah, maybe I'll make a little separate thing on the whole CV-19. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope it's a blessing. And like, share, subscribe, stay along for the journey. Keep your mind on the Lord, your eyes on the Word. And God bless you all.